NFTs on Bitcoin are a thing now. Technically, they've been a thing for a while, but a recent innovation called Ordinal Theory has kicked things into overdrive as more than 100,000 inscriptions, technical term for Layer 1 Bitcoin NFTs, have been minted in the last 2 weeks alone. The wildest part? These Bitcoin native NFTs may actually fix the most glaring issue with Bitcoin's long-term viability as a digitally native store of value. Given how suddenly this trend exploded, I'm sure you have a ton of questions. What are ordinals? What's an inscription? Are they better than Ethereum NFTs? Worse? How do you collect them? Create them? What does this mean for Bitcoin? And is this one massive scam in the making? Well, give me about 14 minutes, and I'm going to answer all of that for you, and then some. By the end, you'll know everything there is to know about ordinals, inscriptions, and Bitcoin NFTs. There's a lot to discuss, so let's jump right into it. Welcome back, tribe. If you're new here, thanks for making the time. I'm Sae'Von, founder and managing partner of Native Assets, and I teach people how to thrive and prosper in the digital asset era. I do this by providing keynote presentations like this, and also interviewing industry experts and sharing insights gathered from my experience using protocols and investing in projects. If you want to stay up to date with the latest learnings and opportunities across emerging technologies like Web3, NFTs, AI, and crypto, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a timely video like this again. Before diving into the exact steps involved in buying, collecting, and minting your very own inscriptions, we need to clarify the technical difference between ordinals and inscriptions. Simply put, ordinals are a method of tracking and transferring individual satoshis, which are the smallest divisible unit of a Bitcoin. There are 100 million satoshis in every Bitcoin, and given the total supply of Bitcoin is finite, so are the satoshis, technically. Ordinals are called such because they're tracked in sequential order based on the first in, first out principle. There's a numbering scheme that refers to the order in which the Satoshi was mined, and a transfer scheme referring to when the Satoshi was first transacted, whether it be an input or an output. And with the base layer ordinal tracking system in place, you can now attach content to each of these individual Satoshis, whether that be an image, account, token, stablecoin, or anything else that can fit within the data contained within an individual block of a Bitcoin transaction. This process of attaching data to Satoshis is known as an inscription. So far, there's been more than 100,000 inscriptions made on the Bitcoin network, with notable collections including Ordinal Punks, Taproot Wizards, Ord Rocks, and Astral Babes. Just like the NFT boom we saw on Ethereum back in 2021, several of these inscriptions have already sold for tens of thousands, in some instances selling for 6 and 7 figures. So yes, it's safe to say there is a ton of opportunity in these early days of ordinals and inscriptions. But before I show you how to set up your wallet, collect and mint inscriptions, and engage in all manner of degenerate shenanigans, give me a few moments to cover some key details that will save you a ton of headache. After all, this sort of opportunity comes at a cost. The first thing to note is that inscriptions and ordinals are fundamentally different from NFTs typically found on smart contract platforms like Ethereum, Polygon, Solana, or Tezos. One of the main distinctions is that every Bitcoin inscription is fully on-chain, quite the contrast to NFTs, which typically store content off-chain via IPFS. So far, most traditional collectors haven't realized how severe this issue is, but I'm confident that will change as more marketplaces fail and NFTs stop linking to their pinned content. Given that Bitcoin is the world's most powerful and resilient computer network, inscriptions are far more durable and secure than nearly any other form of NFT existing on another network, even if they're the rare, fully on-chain variety. Of course, This brings its own set of trade-offs. Due to the composability of smart contract platforms like Ethereum, NFTs can be more dynamic and expressive, allowing for the aesthetics, functionality, or utility to change over time. Inscriptions, on the other hand, are much more difficult to update and change after they've been inscribed. If you want durability, they're great. Perhaps the best option available. If you want flexibility, you should look elsewhere, at least at this moment. As it stands, security and infrastructure are still a bit lacking for the Ordinal ecosystem. This is largely due to the novelty of the ecosystem, but it's also a consequence of Bitcoin's fundamental architecture and the philosophy around its monetary premium. In a world with robust platforms like Ethereum, it's no surprise that there's only a small group of developers building with Lightning or Stacks, the two most active application layers atop Bitcoin. As I see it, here are the biggest hurdles and risk. 1. It's incredibly easy to lose your inscription. This is due to the fact that inscriptions are tied to Satoshis, and because of how most Bitcoin wallets handle unique transaction outputs by default. But that's beyond the scope of this video. The main workaround has been making a dedicated wallet solely for receiving inscriptions. This is cumbersome at best, but there are some workaround solutions I'll show you in just a second. Second, there's no real marketplace to safely trade or bid on inscriptions. At this moment, 99% of trades happen OTC, which means you'll probably have to hop into Discord, DM somebody your address, send them some Bitcoin to their address, and then hope that they send you the inscription. So basically, all the things that people tell you not to do in a crypto Discord is exactly what you have to do if you want to buy or sell inscriptions. Just like the wallet solution, there's a workaround I'll teach you. The last major UX hurdle is the process of actually creating an inscription. In the world of NFTs, we have beautiful tools like Manifold, Bueno, and Decent.xyz that make minting and maintaining a collection super simple. At the time of publication, no such tool exists for Ordinals. There has been enormous progress though. Just a week ago, you had to run a full Bitcoin node if you wanted to make an inscription. This is still the primary way large collections are being created, but there is a steep learning curve and it requires you to have a whole hell of a lot of storage space. But, as you may have guessed, your boy got the workaround for you. So, how about we move from theory to practice, shall we? Ordinal wallets. Before you can begin collecting inscriptions, you'll need a wallet. At the time of publication, I suggest you use Xverse. It's basically a Bitcoin version of MetaMask. And what's great is that they automatically generate a dedicated Ordinals address for you when you set up your account. Once you've set up the wallet, just like you would set up your MetaMask, click the second tab, the 4-square icon. You'll see your account name up top, and just below it will say Number of Collectibles. Click Receive. This will bring up two options, Ordinals and Stacks NFT. Select Ordinals by either copying the address or pulling up the QR code. And when you're ready to purchase or receive your Ordinal, simply use this address. Now, as a reminder, this address is only for receiving Ordinals. If you try to do anything else using this address, you'll likely run into issues. Another option is Ordinals Wallet. It's a wallet purpose-created for Ordinals and inscriptions. But at the time of publication, it's only been live for about 72 hours. So, feel free to play around, but know it's not exactly battle-tested. Lastly, I suggest downloading Hero. It's one of the main wallets for the Bitcoin and Stacks ecosystem with a solid track record. They've started rolling out Ordinal support on their testnet and plan to push the same features to mainnet in the next few weeks, if not sooner. No matter which of these options you go with, be sure to back up and test your recovery phrase before sending anything to the wallet. Buying inscriptions. As I mentioned earlier, the bulk of inscriptions are only sold peer-to-peer. You'll need to jump in the collection's Discord and find the creator if the mint is still active. Otherwise, you'll need to contact the owner of the inscription and broker the deal. This is highly risky and could easily leave you shit out of luck. There is at least one collection I've seen so far that allows you to mint your inscription through the collection's website, that being Astral Babes. I'm almost certain this is a nicely camouflaged peer-to-peer order flow, but I can't say for certain. The third option, though less obvious, is a bit less risky and perhaps a bit underpriced. Recognizing the UX hurdles, but still wanting to be an early mover, some projects have opted to mint on Ethereum with the expressed intent to migrate the collection to Bitcoin through a burn event. Some options in this camp include Ordinals, Bitcoin Orbs, and the Edge of Oblivion. Now, some have already begun their migration, while others are still in process. For collections that have yet to move, there's the risk they never migrate. Even if that happens, you still will have the Ethereum version though. Only you can decide if that's a risk you find acceptable. Now, given the founder's track record, I went ahead and added a Bitcoin orb to the fun. Creating inscriptions. So remember when I said you have to run a full node to make an inscription? Well, a few nimble devs stepped in to provide inscription as a service for those who don't want to go through the hassle. The two main options are Gamma, the primary Bitcoin NFT marketplace built on stacks, and Ordinal Bot, a tool created by the Satoshiables team. Both tools work in a similar fashion, but Ordinal's Bot is the better option. Once you're on the site, upload the file you want inscribed. I suggest leaving the Optimize Image box checked. Then, input your Ordinal-compatible receive address from the wallet we created earlier. Now, select your transaction fee. The higher the fee, the faster the inscription will process. Then, click Submit and Pay Invoice. Once here, you'll need to pay using Bitcoin. You can scan the QR code or copy the address. Now make sure to download your order as it serves as your receipt. Once the transaction is fully processed, your Ordinal will show up in your wallet. The future of Ordinals. Given the historically tribal and maximalist nature of the hardcore Bitcoin community, it's no surprise that this has been met with all sorts of reactions. Some are happy to see Bitcoin demonstrate its flexibility as an application platform allowing truly decentralized access. Others fear that Bitcoin's reputation and role as a sovereign store of value may get sullied by the sort of scams and rug pulls that have befallen Ethereum and other smart contract networks. Perhaps the wildest aspect about this whole thing is that inscriptions may actually be the key to solving Bitcoin's long-term security issues as they introduce a novel source of revenue for miners, further incentivizing them to continue securing the network even after the block rewards disappear. If you're watching this and exploring ordinals and inscriptions, you're truly a pioneer. Could you end up making some good returns if you grab the right project? It's certainly a possibility. I'm definitely shooting my shot. But regardless of the upside, I hope this trend encourages you to take a deeper look at Bitcoin and everything else happening in the ecosystem. It may not be as dopamine-inducing as Ethereum or the latest L2, but it's the largest network for a reason. Who knows? This may just be the best shot yet at ending the toxic tribalism that's divided Bitcoin and Ethereum for far too long. Now, if you've got the Bitcoin bug after all these recent developments, I encourage you to check out the Stacks ecosystem and to grab yourself a .btc domain name. And if you'd like me to make a video covering more of the Bitcoin world, leave a comment below and let me know. I'll do my best. And if you've missed the last keynote about the Root Network airdrop, be sure to check that out. And while you're at it, might as well listen to the most recent interview too. But that's it for this one. I appreciate you, and I'll holler real soon. Peace.